Welcome back to Baby Bones on Nickelodeon. Cube Boy. Hey there friends, wherever and whenever you are in the world, and welcome to another video by Cube Boy Collectables. This week it is part 1 of creating Skelecube, my most ambitious designer toy piece to date. Since I started Cube Boy in 2020, I've learned a lot. I've been watching lots of videos and tutorials, I've been talking to other artists, and mostly I've been making lots of mistakes. And I'm hoping that this project will be like the combination of everything that I've learned to creating something really amazing. Skelecube started out as this very basic sketch as a concept for an X-ray Cube Boy, morphed into this weird little painting here, and the design got used for a whole bunch of skate decks and records, and it's one of my favorite designs, and I thought this could make an amazing designer toy. The plan is to create a 10-inch tall, multiple parts, magnetic articulation, a full paint job. It is the biggest and raddest thing that I've ever designed, and I hope it comes out great. What you're going to see is a behind the scenes of the last couple of months trying to put this thing together. I'm still working on this as I'm making this video, so this is just part 1. Look, let's just get into it. Start the video. For nightmare inspiration. So today we're making a cube. This is my first initial test prototype. I think scale-wise it just was a little bit big, so I scaled it down. I've ended up with this. I decided it would be quite fitting to use toy packaging to make this rough box. I've just got some aluminium foil in the top there just to give it a little bit of sturdiness, just so it holds its shape. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some epoxy sculpt. I'm going to use the epoxy sculpt to make some very thin walls. It's going to stand about 10 inches tall. So the legs are going to go here, the arms are going to go here. It's going to be a detachable face plate, and I think the top of the box is going to look a little bit more ragged, so I want to leave that for later on. But for now, since I said I'm documenting this whole thing, this bit's very boring, but I'm going to make a cube. We currently have a very, very rough cube. That's the top that's open because I'm going to have some, what I call the special flaps. It's going to be. The most exciting thing about today is that I have made these. Hello. May end up being the final, or maybe just prototype versions of Cube Boy's hands. I'm pretty happy with the scale in terms of the rest of the box. Today I'm going to try to put skin. Well, not skin. Today I'm going to try and make some skeleton arms. I will be using epoxy sculpt, which is one of my favourite things to use. It's a modelling compound. It's A to B, 50-50. You mix it together, and then it dries hard. Skeleton arms. Made a start on the legs, so as you can see it's a pretty simple, just a wire armature. I've made a shape within here that kind of resembles a shoe, then I've filled it out with some foil. The foil is basically there so that when I put the epoxy sculpt over the top, I don't need to use a big solid piece of it. It can. This is just sort of to fill out the shape to save on materials, and it also helps me start to get things about the right size that I want them, and then I can build up from there. But I want to do the hands. So what I'm using instead of the epoxy sculpt is some of this super fine white milliput, which you can get from most hobby stores, and it's same thing, 2 parts, mix it together, you get a nice little white ball like this, and it's just really good because it sands down really smooth. You can get some really smooth textures and some really fine detail in it. So that's why I'm going to use that for the hands, or at least the base of the hand. So let's here we go. Pretty weird to look at right now, but here we've got some very rough skeleton bone arms, sort of some legs. So once this is dry, I can start sanding these down, making them nice and smooth, adding some detail. But right now they look creepy as fuck. Everyone look at my tiny nightmare son! Oh, he's so fucked up. But I think this is gonna work. So the plan for today is to work out the logistics of the face. One of the things I found with the initial Cube Boy design, this was one of the very first Cube Boy toys that I made, and looking back at it now, there's a lot of things that I would do differently, because when I made the original one, it was weighted different. So when I cast it, and I rotocast it with a hollow body, the weight kind of shifted, so it has a tendency to kind of fall backwards. And then also, I would not do these resin pegs again because they're quite flimsy, and a lot of people have said that these have fallen over and then like the pegs have snapped. So this is going to have magnetic articulation. I really make sure that the balance is right before I cast it in a different material so that it's not going to fall over, it's not going to fall, it's not going to break. And if it does fall for whatever reason, the limbs can just be reattached because they're magnetic. I love this one, and if you have one of these, they're good because they're rare, but they are a lot more fragile than I intended them to be. If I redo them, they will be a lot better. But I love this design. I learnt a lot doing this and making some of the mistakes that I made. We now have about the right size for where the faceplate's going to go. So this is going to be the basis for the face. So now I'm going to epoxy sculpt this. I've got some milliput for the fine details, and I'm going to start making the faceplate. Now we have this almost finished skeleton boy faceplate, which will of course sit right there. I really hope that no one at Google is paying attention to the amount of time I've image searched human bones and baby skull while working on this project, because it's a lot, but I like to be you know, I like to have reference photos. I'm making a designer toy. I don't need to know about baby bones. Welcome back. You're watching Baby Bones on Nickelodeon. And then I had to move house. The project was put on hold for a little bit as I was moving house. I had to get everything to the new location. I had to set up a new workshop space. I had a whole bunch of other customs and projects I needed to get finished first. But then it was time to get back to making Skelecube. New workshop, new me. Well, it's definitely time for a bit of an update. I'm in my new workshop. There's stuff everywhere and it's not put together yet, but I'm excited to keep working on this project. It's my temporary work setup, and this is the cube body, which currently has plug holes for the legs and shortly plug holes for the arms, where the arm sockets will fit in like this, if I can see. So the arms are going to go in like so. Also, the collective known as This Is Not a Toy Scene have a table at a toy show in Taipei and in a couple of months. So I really want to try to get a prototype of this done so that I can send one and have it shown in another country, which would be super cool. So I've got about a month or so to get the sculpt finished, make some molds, make some casts, get some prototypes painted and send them to Melbourne so they can go into Taipei and be part of that show. Things are happening. I've got to get back to work. I'll see you later. Also, I got this brand new apron. My mum made it for me, and it's pretty important that you see this because the inliner is freaking Star Wars. As you can see, I think since the last time I showed the legs, they were very much just skeletons. Now they're a little bit more fully formed, they've got a bit of structure to them. Getting sanded, getting smoothed out, almost at the point of adding the final details to them to make them actually look like the final skull. Let's see if I can put it all together and see what it looks like. There is the basic skeleton, as it were, of Skelecube, and then the faceplate will sit there like that and it won't be open on the top. So there's a pretty good look at what it's going to look like. So if you want to see a bit of a close look at the inner workings, as you can see, it's just some PVC pipe fittings that I've used to lock the legs in. They will have magnets at either end which will sort of keep them firmly in there, and hopefully if they're strong enough, be able to use for a little bit of posability as well on the arms. Did a little test to see if the magnets would be strong enough to hold the faceplate on, and they are. Chipping away at this project over the last couple of months, and I'm really happy with the progress I've made, especially in the last 2 weeks. I've done some sculpts on the legs, I've refined the arms a little bit, I've done a lot more detailing on all the bones, I've done some more detailing in the box. The only thing I really have left to do is put the top back on and start making molds. The reason I haven't closed up the top yet is because this has all the inner workings inside, and I want to make sure that I've got access to all that stuff while I still can, because once I close it off, if anything breaks, if anything pops out of place, it's going to be really difficult to fix it. The shoes I'm especially proud of. I wanted to do kind of like a hybrid kind of Converse All-Star sort of Adidas style sneaker, kind of pays tribute to both those shoes without specifically being one or the other. So there's just some nice textures, just added some little nicks and scratches all over the bones so that when these get painted and black washed and dry brushed, those little details will kind of just stick out and it won't just look like plain bones. Big day today, gonna make some molds, gotta get some supplies. Well, shit, they are out of stock Australia-wide. So this puts a bit of a kink in the plans for today. I plan to get all my resin and silicone I needed to start making the molds for the Skelecube today, but it turns out that the product I need is sold out Australia-wide and I won't be able to get any till early next week, fingers crossed. What I can do today is start making the mold boxes, because I have 6 separate parts for this build. Obviously there's 2 legs, there's 2 arms, there's the body, and there is the faceplate, and each one of them needs a different type of mold. A one pour mold, to a cut mold, and I think the arms I have to do as a 2-piece mold. So it means I need to make different kind of mold boxes to cast them in, and I guess I'll make them today so that when I do finally get the materials I need, I can get straight to it, and hopefully it won't delay this too much. This is not ideal. But if everything went to plan, where's the fun in that? Actually, that would actually be great. Brings us pretty much to today. I really just want to get this thing out there, but unfortunately due to a bunch of delays, the world being the way that it is, you know. So unfortunately, I mentioned earlier in the video the Taipei show that I was hoping to get this ready for. That's just not going to happen. But the plan now is to get this ready for a July 2022 launch, where I can launch this at Supernova Perth. Cancel! And then have some exclusive colorways and variants of this piece available at This Is Not the Toy Store in Melbourne, where you can also find a whole bunch of exclusive Cube Boy merch. So if you are in Melbourne, make sure you check it out. It's an amazing store with a whole bunch of other amazing artists from all around Australia. So thank you so much for coming on this first part of the journey with me. Please come back for part 2. Things are going to get more exciting from here on out as I get towards the final product and getting it out there into the world. You could buy one! You could have one! Yes, you! Dave? Hit that bell notification when you subscribe to the channel, like this video and share it to anyone you think might like it. All that stuff really does help me grow the channel as I try to bring out more exciting stuff and more videos and more content for you all, so you stay tuned, and until next time, keep it weird and never stop playing. Cube Boy.